Welcome to the Our Team Podcast, powered by eXp Realty. Are you an agent looking to level up? Are you someone looking to buy or sell real estate? Fantastic. This is the show for you.
Welcome to the Our Team Podcast.
Thanks, Brian. Happy to be here.
I'm Brian Auer. This is Steph Winter. And today we're going to talk about something that I think is really important. And it really has a lot to do with something that I think is our responsibility as realtors.
Absolutely.
It's controlling the narrative on what the market conditions truly are. Because don't you just hear it all the time that the market's crashed, that the market is in the, I mean, everything from the market is crashed to I'm waiting for the market to crash to just all the, let me interrupt myself. There's so much false garbage out there, even from people that I really, really respect. Did I tell you about Sean Hannity?
You had started going into that.
I love Sean Hannity. He's a conservative talk show host. He's very good at what he does. He's very smart. He's probably one of the leaders in conservative talk. But even him, when he goes on to his Biden raids and rants, which I love, by the way, I do. They're hilarious, and he just will slam Biden up for everything, even thing that's not his fault. Like the market is not Biden's fault. I'm telling you, he will go off and literally say in front of millions of people, he has a huge audience, that the market in California has crashed.
Where?
I'm here to tell you, Sean Hannity,
Where?
who
Which
I
part of
love,
California?
it hasn't crashed.
No.
The market has not crashed. People are walking around with this idea that the market crashed. So whose job is it then to actually share with the world what's really going on? It's us, realtors. We're the ones that are selling the homes, right? I think it's a lender's responsibility too. But if you're a lender, if you're a realtor, you're in this space and you do this for a living,
Right.
you need to control that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
So how are some ways that you're doing that?
Gosh, I mean, first of all, that's so scary. That's so scary to think about, like that there's a national narrative that can just be so loud and so powerful and so wrong all at the same time.
Are we talking about vaccines right now, or are we talking about real estate?
Anything that's national, any public service announcement, any public information system at this point is just null and void. They changed the rules in broadcasting and journalism several years ago, and everything they say is shit. And I think if you're still believing that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. I stopped getting my news from the news years ago. I get my news from Facebook and TikTok, and I don't know how irresponsible that sounds.
It sounds irresponsible.
Wildly irresponsible, but I think I'm more in touch and in tune with people and what's going on in the world and like current events and things that are trending than most people, because I'm looking for a source that isn't filtered. I'm looking for a direct source. I believe that also being in this industry of humans and human behavior, I think I have a good decoder or a good decipherer of how I interpret information. And I like to go direct to the source. You know, I would rather hear about the train derailment in Ohio from somebody who lives there and is boots on the ground than having it filtered through some national news source.
Right.
First off,
where they say it's no big deal and it's okay to breathe the air.
So
we're going to be fine.
Let's start there just with something that's health and safety and so absolutely simple. Like we absolutely know we need to have clean air and we need to have clean water. And we had this huge national disaster, and you have the national news system telling you that it's safe, nothing to worry about.
Right.
But if you talk to anybody who lives there, like I have family, I have friends in Ohio. Like
our transaction coordinator lives there.
You can't make this stuff
up. Our TC lives there.
Like you get people who live in middle America just shooting things on their phone. Like you can't make this stuff up. Like your coffee is boiling. That's insane. So let's transfer that to the real estate market. Yes, we absolutely have a responsibility to control our narrative. That's what makes us valuable. That's what makes us the experts. That's what makes us our neighborhood market leaders.
That's right.
Right?
And so I think right now, there's so much confusion about where the market really is that as an agent, we have a really good opportunity to shine right now.
I think as an agent, it is now more than ever. It is a skill-based market. It's your language of sales, and it's almost being a polite bully about the information, because that's how the news is broadcasting it. Like, how do you go up against somebody like Sean Hannity, who has a national platform and can just blatantly spit out lies that create cognitive dissonance. Like, how am I watching the TV where a man is telling me that the market is crashing, and yet I just got beat out on a property with 6 offers?
That's my point. Now, to his defense, he's just
For ratings.
He hasn't done the
For
research.
ratings.
He's
not
trying
looking for
to
Google
lie.
reviews on how he sold somebody a home.
That's true. But he's not trying to lie. He's just uninformed, and he's getting that information out there. So I learned a long, long time ago, actually from my dad, that you have to control your media. And what that means is, like you were alluding to, you have to have discernment. You have to know, you have to have a good bullshit filter.
Yeah.
You have to be able to identify, you have to know the truth so well that a lie is very easy to detect, right? People that work at the U.S. Mint and they make money, they're so familiar. They know money so well because they're printing it and designing it and doing all the stuff with money. They're handling money so much that when they hold a counterfeit, they don't even have to open their eyes. They know it's fake. We have to be that with what's really going on in the market. We have to have our finger on the pulse of what's going on and be so in tune with what's happening in the real estate market that we can easily recognize when something's bullcrap.
Yes. And that is one of the best, worst things I always say about working with a realtor is that we understand scams. We recognize scams.
Yep.
We are in the scam business, if you will.
Okay. I didn't know
Not
that.
that we are scamming, but we are in a opportunistic, right? Because of all the transactions and the money that's transferred. People with ill intentions will come in very opportunistic and take advantage of the opportunities, right?
For sure.
And so we have to have another sense of, what does this smell like? Is this in line? And, cross double check everything, especially when transferring money, right?
Yeah, we see a lot of wire fraud. I haven't been, part of any transaction that it happened in, but I have a lot of real estate agents in my network that have literally had transactions where at the closing table they wired to a totally, like, instead of calling escrow and saying I'm about ready to send my wire, they somehow get their email hacked and they get an email that looks like it's coming from escrow saying, oh, here's the new wiring instructions for this.
So this brings me, so I'm just thinking a totally other thought with the market, the sky is falling. So I was just listening to Ed Milet's The Power of One More, and he talks about the reticular activating system, which we might have heard in different things, the RAS, the RAS, the reticular activating system. So it's like when you go out and you want to buy a new car, like a new Jeep, you start looking around, you see all the new Jeeps, right? You want a black Jeep, all you see are black Jeeps everywhere.
They come out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
You don't notice them before.
You want to get a dog and you start noticing all the dog parks. I can take my dog there. I'm going to take my dog there. I'm going to take my dog there. I'm going to do the dog park there. So I'm curious if this is an intonation to crash the market, where if they can get enough newscasters saying the sky is falling, even though all data proves otherwise, it's going to put something in your reticular activating system to look for signs of the market crashing.
Right.
Instead of looking for signs of opportunity, you're looking for signs for the market to crash. So that way when it does crash, you go, oh my gosh, I knew it was crashing. I knew it. I saw it crashing.
So it's almost like
what happens if it doesn't crash?
We're talking about controlling the narrative, and the reason we're talking about that as realtors, we need to control the narrative. It's because they are controlling the narrative, and it's not right.
And it's scary.
They are. The
powers that be.
They are controlling it. I mean, I'm serious. Every time I hear the news, it's about.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying. I turn it on for 3 seconds and it like auto turns on my TV and I'm like back. Like I don't want to see the headline. I don't want to hear the first 30 seconds. Nothing positive has ever come out of the news channel within the first 3 seconds of turning it on.
Well, it doesn't, because positive stuff doesn't sell.
No,
it doesn't. It's got to be doom and gloom, and it's got to instill fear and things like that for it to really for it to sell.
Sensational.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That was what I was looking for. So, what is really happening in the market then? Let's just chat about that before we wrap this up.
Absolutely.
First I want to say this. In order to control the narrative, you have to narrate. Okay, so I know that sounds really stupid, but open your mouth. Start sharing what the market. If you're a realtor listening to this, Start narrating.
Yeah.
Control the narrative means you got to narrate. You got to talk about it. You need to be out there on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on
to the
YouTube
market.
Shorts, right? Start talking about every day. Start talking about what the market's really doing in your neighborhood, because
It's
we need to
2014.
control. We need
It's
to control it.
2015. This is hilarious. I just came from a mastermind, and it was 12 agents, and we all went around the table. Who's making their calls? Who's making their calls? Who's making their calls? Not a GD one of us is making our calls. And I looked around and I went, this is why we're in a recession.
Yeah.
This is why we got comfortable. Zillow was handing us food for 2
Yeah.
years. We got comfortable. We didn't make our calls because when I got into real estate, I was so excited. Like, I can make the economy happen.
Yeah.
If you've ever listened to the Zig Ziglar, because you made a sale.
Yeah.
Because you made a sale, the
Yep.
pad of paper was sold, and then you made money, and you went to the store to buy a can of beans, and because of the can of beans, then the farmer had to go
Yeah.
out there and get more bean seeds and plant
Yeah.
more bean seeds and get more cans and get more labels and get more this and get more that, all because you made a sale.
Yeah.
And like getting into sales, it was so exciting to think like, oh my God, we move the economy.
Absolutely.
We get to do that, and we get to do that through our language of sales and getting out there and talking to people.
Yeah.
So as soon as we start talking to people and controlling the narrative again, we'll be right out of this recession.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Isn't that
right.
great?
We just need to narrate, get out there and talk. We have so many tools. I mean, I'm staring at your phone right now that happens to be filming this, this angle. That has an incredible camera on it that you can flip around and you can start explaining to the world what the market's doing.
Yeah.
We have the tools. It's so easy to upload on TikTok, to upload on Instagram, to upload on Facebook, YouTube Short. It's so easy to get the word out there. And then when you send your emails out there, send links to those. Just blanket your audience, your sphere, the people that already know, like, and trust you.
Yeah.
Let them know that the market is on fire. It is.
Yeah.
Let's talk about now. Let's talk about
Yeah.
the market. If you have a property that is in a price point that aligns with most conforming loan products, is a nut house out there. Still, interest rates are almost 7%.
Wow. Yeah.
They're almost 7, and has that changed anything? Not. It did at first. Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, the rates are up," and so we saw the market temporarily really crash. Right? I mean, it's like, things were selling for way above list price, and then it seemed like within a few month period, things really slowed down, and it felt weird. But then once it started to just acclimate to, okay, rates are higher. There's still people that need to buy. What's been happening? It's absolutely a bloodbath in certain price points. How many offers do you think most homes get that are in those conforming loan prices?
Well, I mean, it depends on the condition of the property, right?
Yeah,
when it
of
comes
course,
down to
yeah.
it, the hot properties are still getting multiple offers
Right.
within the first weekend.
Because I have a bird's eye view of what's going on the team, of how many people are writing offers right now. Almost everyone on the team is writing offers, and almost everyone on the team is getting beat out. Because there's multiple offers on every single property it's crazy,
My God.
right?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's like we're going back in time. Like it's
Yeah.
interesting because it's like I got my license in 2014, and this is the first time we've edged into a buyer's market, right?
Yeah.
That's 9 years.
Yeah.
9 years of a seller's market.
Yeah.
That's crazy. My entire real estate career has been 9 years, almost a decade
Yeah.
of a seller's market.
That's right.
And you're telling me it's going to crash, but the numbers show that inventory is still low, demand is still high, demand is still bottlenecked from
Yeah.
2007,
That's right.
2014 years. More people are being born,
Mm-hmm.
right? I read a book called Shifts Ahead, which talked about the how you have multiple single people more single dwellers in housing,
Yeah.
which is providing a need for more housing units.
Yeah.
So on one hand, we have the need for generational housing, but on the other hand, we have a lot of single dwellers.
Right.
So it's kind of splitting the margin, but not, I don't think, enough. As this market is like trying to find its bearings again, which is like what we were coming out of in like 2015, 2016. And that's when we saw value range marketing. That's when value range marketing started
Yeah.
because we didn't really know how to price the houses in the market. We weren't really sure what buyers were willing to pay, what sellers were willing to accept, what the equity, because sellers were just coming into equity again from
Yeah.
2014, 2015. And that's when we started seeing value range marketing. So it's really interesting as we're going back as the market scales back, it's kind of like the trends scale backwards in how people view, how we approach the market,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, in terms of like inventory, prices, how we negotiate. So
Okay.
it feels comfortable, like I've been here before.
Yeah. It does feel like I remember how the market was.
Like it
in-
feels normal. Like
Yeah.
everyone's freaking out, and I'm like, okay, well, I wasn't here for 2007, so I don't know what that was like. I didn't
that
lose.
was
I didn't
bad.
lose my shorts. Right.
Yeah.
I was too young, probably.
Yep.
I didn't really understand what was going on with the market. I knew in 2007, right, and so in 2006, I grew up in Wildemar,
Yeah.
92595.
Yeah.
In 2006, I have houses in my neighborhood selling for $500,000. 500. I couldn't even conceptualize $500,000 at 20 years old. Houses in my Wildemar neighborhood, which wasn't even a city,
Right.
in the Lake Elsinore School District for
Yeah.
500,000. It just did not make sense.
Yeah.
And so, and then I remember I got a job at Chili's, the restaurant, and I went from making $90 in a lunch shift, and I think in a couple of months it went down to like $5 a lunch shift. Like you were lucky to get $5 in a lunch shift. And this recession is going on, and houses prices are dropping, right? Because at that time, I still thought you had to have 20% for a down payment also.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking around like, who the hell has $100,000 to put down? Who is coming to Wildemar with $100,000?
Right.
That just did not make sense to me. So when I think about how much I've learned as a real estate agent and how much I didn't know
Yeah.
just as a consumer in previous years, I just realized there's such a gap of knowledge.
Yeah.
Just to not even bring to homeowners, people who already own homes don't even understand how an amortized loan works, right? I shared it with an agent today. I was like, oh my God, I just found this amazing 15-minute podcast that explains amortization loans better than I've ever heard. And she was like, do you not understand how that works? And I'm like, I understand if I borrow money, I have to pay it back, usually
Yeah.
more than I borrowed, but like who really pays attention to how it works?
Exactly.
Like, some personality types does, some personality types don't. But just like to have that, like such a succinct explanation to be able to share with people and like, wow, listen to this 3 times. Like if this were a college class, think about how smart you would be if you spent 3 months on amortization loans.
Yeah.
And just understanding the impact that that has over time and like really spending time on it. Because you can spend 15 minutes listening to a podcast on amortization loans, or you can spend 45 minutes listening to it 3 times
Yeah.
and really understand the longevity and the effects. Because I'm like, oh my God, like I've been doing this for 9 years and I just found a really awesome new resource, right?
Yeah.
So, and the market's always changing. So we always have to stay ahead of it. We always have
Is
to
this
know what's
Deeper
going
Pockets?
on.
Was it from-
Bigger Pockets. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Bigger Pockets one I sent out
Yeah.
earlier. So
Yeah,
good.
that's a great
And we can
podcast.
tag it. We can tag it in this in
Yeah.
the comments below on this.
Yes.
So it's easily accessible, or just email us. We'll send you the link. It's like an amazing 15-minute podcast on
Yeah.
amortization loans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a fun word to say now that I know how it fucking works. Like,
It is.
you know, I'm pretty smart at a lot of things, but I'm not smart at everything. And I
Yeah.
got to admit that
It's-
sometimes.
and
Like I've been
it's-
doing this for 9 years and I just like,
Yeah. It's not our job to understand every nuance about lending. That's a lender's job. We should understand, though, everything that there is to know about real estate, and we should definitely know why the market is the way it is and what the real market's doing, and we should definitely be a real estate agent that cares enough to try to control what's
Yeah.
really happening
Yeah.
or to control that narrative about what is really happening.
Look, what are
So-
we really in the business for? We're in the business of making generational wealth, creating generational wealth. Did you not just help a family through 6 generations?
5 generations.
5.
I'm not that old.
5 generations. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We just closed on a family, and when they closed, the mother-in-law called us, and she was in tears. She goes, "Do you realize?" And she was crying. She says, "Do you realize you've helped us, in 5 generations buy homes?" And I was like, "Wow, that makes me feel really old."
Yeah. So if someone's going to tell me, oh, I'm waiting for the market to crash.
Yeah.
Great. Explain to me an amortization loan and how does that benefit you waiting for the market to crash? Because those are 2 very relatable factors. Because if you can start, like, what are you waiting for? We're talking about an amortized loan over time. So getting started, wouldn't it make sense to get started sooner?
Yeah, of course.
The market's going to do what the market's going to do.
Yep.
You're going to make a payment every month to live somewhere, one way or another.
Yeah.
And then now we have to go deep into the other, psychological reasons of why would somebody buy a house. So we have to control that narrative for all the reasons because we understand the psychological reasons why somebody buys a home. Sean Hannity, who the hell is Sean Hannity? He doesn't give a shit. Excuse me. Sean Hannity doesn't care where you live.
No.
Sean Hannity cares about his ratings.
Yeah.
I'm your neighbor. I care about where you live.
Yeah.
Right? That's why.
That's why. That's exactly why. Don't drop this microphone, please.
I would never.
Yeah.
No.
Mic drop. So, all right.
Neither of us get paid enough to drop a microphone.
I think we can leave it here. I just wanted to talk with somebody that I know would be spicy enough to handle this topic, because it just irks me when I hear on the news the bull crap about the market crashing, and then I get so irritated with people that I'm working with buyers that are literally saying, we're just going to wait until the market crashes. That's what we're going to do.
When I hear that tells me that they have another psychological reason for, people's first excuse is not their real excuse.
Yeah.
Buyers who are going to buy every step of the way. They're going to make the effort to buy. They're not going to give you some excuse that the market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. The market's going to do what the market's going to do.
Yeah, it's true. And it doesn't even make sense, because they're hearing on the news and they're believing that the market has crashed.
Look, I've had to be a realtor 10 years to learn how to find the right information.
But then they're seeing, I know, right? Then they're seeing, they're out there really shopping. Then they're seeing, wow, the market has not crashed. I gotta keep waiting for it to happen because the news says it's happened.
In fact, now I'm feeling guilty that I'm like sitting here talking to you and I'm not like making an Instagram post.
You should.
Yeah.
You should. Thank you for joining us here. Joining me here.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions about the Our Team.
Yeah.
If you
Temecula Real Estate.
Yeah, anything having to do with real estate, please reach out to us. We're very easy to get a hold of. You can catch us in the link below or whatever. If you like this, then please subscribe.
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, we're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're
fun.
super fun.
I think we're fun. I'd hang out with us.
All right, we're out of here.
Okay. Bye.
We'll catch you on the next one.